Support the programs you love and wear your Mississippi pride on your sleeve, literally, with the new merch on the MPB shop. Check out our latest drop with apparel from your favorite TV and radio shows, both current and throwback, featuring fan favorites like Next Stop Mississippi, Southern Dish, Ampton Wired, and more. Every purchase you make supports MPB. Visit mpbonline.org and click the shop button at the top to show your support today.
School choice, rural hospitals, voter access. The 2026 Mississippi Legislature will impact you and your family for years to come. MPB brings you At Issue, a weekly analysis of the legislative session and the issues affecting you with perspectives from both sides of the aisle. Brandon Jones and new At Issue analyst Rebecca Staples join me, Wilson Stribling, every Monday at 5 p.m. only on MPB Think Radio and wherever you get your podcasts. MPB, your stories, our mission.
Okie dokie, folks. Welcome back. Horticulturalist Felder Rushing and Java. Good to see you. How are you this morning?
Oh, man, I'm making it, man. I'm just rolling in. I've had a interesting week myself. But yeah, it's Friday and it's a good day.
Is it work related, kids related? I don't want to get personal. It's not my business.
Oh,
but
no,
I know with 3 kids and all and a working sweetheart, it can be rough sometimes.
Well, yeah, and I guess full transparency, because I was missing in action here physically in the studio. Crystal, she had her conference off being fabulous and wonderful as she is. And I was at home being super dad. And I will admittedly say my normal guardrails weren't around. All of the grandparents are off doing grandparent things. And I was just on my dad island.
You had to do it all.
I had to do it all.
Well, that's all right. We got plenty of stuff to talk about. I'm hoping we get a lot of calls today because I know it's getting too hot. You got some rain earlier in the week, but most of the state, not too bad rain-wise, but it's starting to get hot, and that's going to drive some gardeners around the twist. And Job, I know we're having a lot of trouble with insects, with leaf spot diseases, with things like that. And also the critters get hungry and thirsty. A lot of times they'll eat stuff they normally don't eat just because it's got moisture in it. So anyway, for the next couple of hours, hour at a time, 30 minutes, however much time folks want to spend with us today, make it a call-in program. You got some things to chat about, some things on your mind, something you heard you're not sure about, or maybe you heard me say something you disagree with. I'm okay with that. We can talk about it, and I can change my approach too. But anyway, give us a call. It's toll free, 1-877-MPB-RING. No matter where you are, it's toll free, and we'll give that number over and over. But before we get into that, Java, let me ask you something. Can you see this?
Yeah, that looks like.
Have I ever shown it to you before?
Maybe. I don't know if it's been that big. I've seen something like that before.
Well, it ain't that big. It might look big because I'm holding it up close. It's about twice as big as my fist. It's an ornamental glass object. It got nice little wings on it. It's to be hung outside, and it's blue, but it's hollow on the inside. I mean, you can stick your finger in there, and it's got little swirls of glass in it. This is an old-fashioned, what they call a witch ball.
Oh,
you know about bottle trees and voodoo signs and hex symbols on barns and all the things people have done to try to ward away bad things in their garden. Most people are familiar with bottle trees and the hex signs that the Dutch put on their barns. Well, a witch ball was something that was sort of like a bottle tree. They're hung outside. They got a hollow thing, and at night, supposedly bad spirits would go in it, get hung up in the glass strands, can't get back out, and the next day the sun destroys them. So it ain't all about just bottle trees. We've done all sorts of stuff. But what does that have in common with these things?
What? Those are not. They look like incense, but I know they're not incense.
No, they're little punji stick looking things, pointed sticks.
Some big toothpicks. What they do, man?
Well, they do the same thing. They're actually more effective than witch ball. We got any calls? Can I get in a couple of pictures right off the bat?
Yeah, we got one call. Marissa's hooking them up now, so go ahead, show your pictures.
Okay. Well, let's do picture. If we could get picture number one thrown up, our lively. As I know, John C. is Abram back there. Who else is our live stream producer today?
Yeah, we got Abram, we got John C., we got Marissa on the phones, we got All-Star Squad.
Well, if we can get them to put up picture number one, my daughter-in-law, as she says, my grandbaby mama, as she calls herself, took this picture out her front door, not very far from in Northeast Jackson, in town. I don't know if they can, if I can't see if the picture's up or not.
Yeah, it's a little baby. Is that a doe?
Yeah, it's a deer. Yeah, my little MPB thing is not showing up on my. Yeah, that was on her front porch in Jackson, about 5 blocks from Jackson Academy. Give you some idea. Well, it was eating her plants, and she wants to know what she can do about it. Let's put up picture number 2, and I'll show you what I do in my garden in Jackson. I'm not around. I put up fence around my little garden. I use chicken wire. I use, which you can't really see. I use bird netting. But anything I can do to keep critters out of my garden is a physical thing. And I've been reading all week from people talking about, and on Mississippi Gardening Facebook, about using deer repellent and rabbit repellent and predator urine and cinnamon and all sorts of stuff they've been using to keep critters out of the garden. If any of those worked, I would use them. But instead, I put up a fence. That's just what I do. And it works better than better than a gazing ball, and better than incense or coffee grounds or human hair or Irish Spring soap. All those things, they may work for some people sometime, but if you want to really control things like deer and squirrels and raccoons and birds and stuff like that, you're gonna have to put up some kind of fencing or netting. I want to throw that out because have we got the caller on the line yet? Because I got some other pictures along these lines I want to show.
Well, let's take a little pause and let's get our caller in, and then
that's what we're here for. That's what we're here for, Java.
So let's talk with
who we got?
Let's talk with Adrian and Terry.
Morning, Adrian. What's going on?
Hey, good morning, Felder. Happy Friday.
Thank you.
Hey,
what's up?
I am wondering. So I moved to this area from a northern part of the country. And the squash vine board.
Go ahead,
there,
tell us what part.
No, Virginia, not too far north.
Well, Virginia, that's a north-south.
Yeah, it's kind of in the middle. Up there, the squash vine boars only laid eggs once a year. And from what I understand, they lay twice in the south. Is that accurate? And if so, could you expand on their laying season down here?
I don't know the seasons. They are usually worse first thing in this, late spring, late May, June. That's usually when they're worst. Sometimes they can have what's called a second generation. The ones that the caterpillars come from eggs, hatch in, and then they turn into pupa and they come out as a moth. And we have a long enough season where sometimes those moths can lay more eggs. That's called a second generation. It's usually not as bad the second time around. But by then, most people are giving up on squash anyway. So have you had trouble with them in your garden? Are you just thinking about it or what?
Well, I don't generally grow just like regular summer squash. So I get the other genus and species, the ones that are resistant to it. But I was thinking about trying to grow some like late season, just put the seeds in the ground in August. And I thought, I don't know if they still lay down here for just some regular yellow summer squash.
It shouldn't be a problem that late, because if they're going to have a second generation, again, the egg larva chrysalis adult, and then if that adult lays eggs, then it starts over again. But usually it's not going to be a problem in the late summer and the early fall. I think it's still a good, and by the way, I would do it this month. If you, central Mississippi and Terry, you can plant summer stuff like squash and tomatoes and peppers around the first week or so in August, up till about August the 7th. That's the general cutoff date. So if you get started on it earlier, that'd be better. I think it'd be good to go ahead and invest in some insect netting, though. This is something that's used worldwide, except for some reason in the South, people just don't do it. But you can use this netting over and over and over. Just make some little hoops, or put some sticks between your squash with a little pot or something on top, and just drape it like a tent. And that'll do a good job if there's insect netting of keeping the wasps off. I mean, well, they look like wasps. The squash vine borer looks like a red wasp. Only drawback of that, when they start blooming, you have to lift it up in the mornings and do some hand pollinating because if you don't have bees, you're not gonna have squash. But that's not a hard time. I'd go ahead and use some insect netting just in case.
Okay, well, I'm normally not concerned about it because like I said, I plant the varieties that they don't get to. But as long as it's
I'd
not
like
as
to find that
bad
out.
in the
I haven't heard of any resistant varieties to squash vine borer. I'm gonna look that up though. I'm not
the Cucurbita
pedantic. What's that?
So the genus and species of the yellow squash that we commonly plant in the South is, you're going to know it better than me. There's like Beppo and Maxima and then another one.
Yeah.
Help me out here, Felder.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch, but I didn't know that any are resistant to squash vine borer. I'm gonna learn something here, but I'm not aware of that. At any rate, give it a try. Plant some of each side by side and see what happens. I'm curious about that. But just in case, insect netting is a good thing. They use it all over Asia, all over Japan, all over England, all over Europe, everywhere for some reason, but in the South. And this is where we need it the most. So anyway, I'd like to find out if they don't bother, but I don't think, long story short, I don't think you can have as much of a problem later in the season because the moth is usually gone by then. But insect netting just in case.
That's what I was wanting to know. You just answered it. Thank you so much. I'm going to give it a go, brother.
All righty. We appreciate it. Thank you. I got something to learn here, Java.
Well, I mean, thank you, Adrian, for tuning in, and I hope Virginia, is missing you. But we're glad to have you in Mississippi. Yeah,
well, I am a learner to see if there are any species. Well, it's not really species. It's sort of like species. The difference between squash, different kinds of squash is really, really minor. Difference between different cucumbers and melons and all that, it's really fairly minor. But I'm curious to find out if there are any squash vine borer resistant varieties. Anyway, I'll do my best to find out. So we got any other callers?
No, but it is time for our first break of the day. So we can go ahead and take that. And
all right.
Take us out, Felder.
Well, we'll do that. I was talking about the deer a little bit earlier. Squash vine borer is just in about netting because I use netting and fencing in my garden. I have to because we got raccoons and possums and squirrels and birds and squash vine borers and all that stuff, and deer too. But there's something we can do in smaller areas that I'm going to talk about when we come back. But I'm horticulturalist Felder Rushing, Java Chapman. We've got Abram and John C. doing the live stream, Marissa, who's screening the phone calls. If you want to check us out on YouTube, go to YouTube and type in Gestalt Gardener, and you can see the pictures of the things that I'm about to show. Otherwise, I'll just try to describe them. Anyway, me and Java and folks at MPB, we'll be right back really, really fast right after this.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Bobby Rush. As a blues man, I love Mississippi Public Broadcasting. If you support Mississippi music and their local programming, donate now, right now, and become a member today, not tomorrow. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Doesn't matter how big or small, but we prefer big. Thank you very much.
School choice, rural hospitals, voter access. The 2026 Mississippi Legislature will impact you and your family for years to come. MPB brings you At Issue, a weekly analysis of the legislative session and the issues affecting you with perspectives from both sides of the aisle. Brandon Jones and new At Issue analyst Rebecca Staples join me, Wilson Stribling, every Monday at 5 p.m. only on MPB Think Radio and wherever you get your podcasts. MPB, your stories, our mission.
Support the programs you love and wear your Mississippi pride on your sleeve. Literally, with the new merch on the MPB shop. Check out our latest drop with apparel from your favorite TV and radio shows, both current and throwback, featuring fan favorites like Next Stop Mississippi, Southern Dish, Hampton Wired, and more. Every purchase you make supports MPB. Visit mpbonline.org and click the shop button at the top to show your support today.
Okie dokie, folks. Welcome back. Horticulturalist Felder Rushing. I just learned something important, Java, during the break. I didn't have time to look them up, but I Googled squash vine borer resistant squash, and I came up with all sorts of sites, including some university sites. So apparently there are some that are resistant. Now, that doesn't mean immune, and resistant to something at Cornell University may not mean anything in the acid test of the Deep South. But anyway, I did come across some, and I just don't know enough to share other than I appreciate the caller letting me know that there was a whole avenue of stuff for me to learn about. I'm still sticking with my netting, though.
Yeah, I'm glad you did say that, because like I know people, when they're planning their gardens or thinking about things to grow, they can go on the internet and, see this is how you should grow something, but whatever website or publication they're looking at may leave out that, hey, I'm in Virginia or I'm in Michigan, and they try to recreate that here in Mississippi, and it doesn't go the way that they think it will.
Yeah, people up north, they don't know what fire ants are. They sure don't know what some of our squash our squash bugs are like. They don't know about a whole lot of things we got, but then we don't have things they do. So anyway, this time next week, I'm going to be an expert on squash vine borer resistant squash. I guarantee you that, because I like to learn stuff. So how are we doing on phone calls?
Well, we still got Marissa. I'm joking with her back there twiddling her thumbs. So if you want to give us a call, 1-877-MPB-RING. That's 1-877-672-7464. But I do want to say good morning to some of our YouTube friends. We got Dean in Alexandria, Louisiana. We got Margie, always from Harperville. We have Alan, who's tuning in from Virginia, Hampton Roads, Virginia. Rita, who's always checking in from Olive Garden. Olive Branch. Olive Garden.
All right, I know where you're headed this evening.
From Olive Branch. And Rita, she had a question. She said, "Felder, is this your backyard in England?" But I know that's not your backyard in England.
No, you're talking about my background. No,
yeah.
This is in Mississippi. I've got a house that's. They said it was periwinkle, but it looks lavender, somewhere between purple and blue to me. But I got the house, and you can see from the bottle trees and all, that's my Mississippi garden. I've got as you know, Java, my garden is designed so that no matter which direction you look, you can see something different. Matter of fact, I see my garden sort of like a lot of garden journalists through a camera lens. And you take a toilet paper roll around my yard and look at my yard through a toilet paper roll with one eye closed, you see all sorts of little individual vignettes here and there. Collectively, my late mother said my yard looked like a kaleidoscope having a stroke. That's what she said. But anyway, no, I do have some. I tell you what, let's show a picture of a part of my garden in England. Let's put up picture number 3. This is a little succulent garden that I put together just last year. I like to grow things that don't need to be watered in the summer and don't freeze in the wintertime. And whether I'm in Mississippi or talking about Rochester, New York, or Lancashire, England, succulents do the job. And I've got sedums, I've got sempervivums, I've got also little dwarf agaves, things that'll take the cold and they'll take the heat and drought. But this is a little collection I've got sitting on the top of the fence, the wall in the back of my garden. And you can see all those things. And Java, it looks kind of fancy. And they're in bloom too. They have real pretty blooms. But let's show picture number 4. That's growing in a pot that I made last year. We talked about it here on the Gestalt Gardener. It's a pot that's made out of cement and peat moss and perlite all mixed together. It's like faux concrete. It's lightweight, heavier than styrofoam, but it looks like concrete. But you can pick it up. Anyway, that's the pot that I made just last year. But last week, I found something walking through my beautiful sedum. Let's put up picture number 5 and let me show you that. And that's what I'm leading up to earlier. Picture number 5 is a neighbor's cat walking through my sedum. See if we get that picture. And you can imagine a trough, concrete-looking trough full of all sorts of flowering succulents cascading down and all, and out of this hypertufa pot. I looked back, and there was a cat just walking right through the middle of it. I thought my stuff was cascading and supposed to be upright. And I'm thinking, what can I do? A slingshot doesn't work. I don't want to throw stuff at the cat. My little gazing ball, my little witch ball, it wasn't helping. And I thought about, let's put up picture number 7. I'm going to show 3 more pictures in a row. Picture number 7 is something I've done in the past. This is chicken wire that I put over my pots. Chicken wire is inexpensive, it's lightweight. You can make it fit anything you want. You can curl it up. You can make balls with it. But what I do, Java, when I'm putting chicken wire over my pots, and I spray paint the chicken wire so it's not silvery looking. You can make it brown or green or whatever. I choose blue because that's just what I happen to have. But I didn't have any chicken wire here. Don't want to buy some. So let me show you what I ended up doing. Picture number 7. And folks, if you can imagine a long concrete looking trough full of blooming succulents with a cat walking on it, I went to down to the store and I bought a little package of wooden skewers. See if we can get picture number 7 up. And that was the skewers I was showing earlier, Java. And I stuck them in it looks like a fortification skewer sticking up on either end of my pot. So these cats are walking along the top of my fence, right? And they come to these skewers and they smell it, they stiff it, and there's too many to move around. So I was hoping that would work. So anyway, that's my cat-friendly solution.
Well, Rita on the YouTube, she says, and also good morning to Kendall, checking in on the YouTube chat. But Rita says she used those sticks in order to keep the squirrels out.
Well, that would work. But let me show you what I was thinking about doing though. Picture number 8. This is in my back garden in Jackson. I've got a high fence all around my yard, and I like to ornament stuff. I'm gonna put ornaments on everything. But what I did was I got a piece of 2x4 and I covered up with concrete mix, and I stuck broken shards of broken, colorful art glass. I got it from Andrew Young down at Pearl River Glass Studio. Some broken glass, and I stood it up like it's like homemade burglar bars, but it's just shards of glass, colorful glass sticking up out of dried concrete on a 2x4 on the top of my fence. Okay,
it'll take one time for a little animal to come across your top of your fence and be like, no, I'm not going that way again.
Oddly enough, this doesn't slow squirrels down, but I got 2 more pictures. Let's show picture number 9. This is what I ended up doing on the other end of my succulent thing. Instead of putting those punji sticks, those skewer sticks, I put some little sticks or some blue bottles on it at one end. And the cats think that it's going to, they won't push through it, but I got little small sticks, bamboo stakes with little blue bottles on the top at the end of it, and they can't get through it. So there, I went from chicken wire to shards of glass to pointed sticks. Now I've got little miniature bottles where you can't get around it.
Well, I guess you have options for your deterrent.
Yeah. And one more thing, I wish somebody would call so we can talk about something besides this. But one more thing is at the other end, I put me a new pot, just a standalone pot, picture number 10. I put this is the top of a wall, and I put a pot full of cactus on the end of it.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm growing my own punji sticks. So between the little miniature bottle trees and the cactus, bring it on, kitty cat.
You'll still get some curious activity, man. Let's go to the phones. I want to say thank you.
Thank you. Let's go to the phones quick.
Thank you to Jim from Jackson who called in.
Good morning, Jim. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you, Felder, and say hello. I want to say hello to Java, my buddy. Speaking of deer in North Jackson, or inside city limits of Jackson, I live in a house about halfway between JA and Northside Drive, and last Friday I saw in the middle of the morning a buck and a doe in my neighbor's yard across the street.
Yeah.
So they're here, and about 6 minutes ago when I was driving back home from the gym, I saw a dead red fox in the middle of the street, less than a block from JA.
Yeah. So you live on Sheffield or something?
Not on Sheffield. I live in Sherwood Forest subdivision, just east of Sheffield.
Well, the reason I'm saying because that picture I showed of the deer in my daughter-in-law's front yard, that was at the end of Sheffield. It might have been the same deer. Don't know, but no, they're pretty much everywhere, And they're not an enemy. We have moved into their place, and they're just looking for something to eat. And we put really tasty stuff out there, better than what they can find in the woods. But anyway, sorry about the fox, but at least it ain't a coyote yet.
No, it was definitely a fox. I also have a question about azaleas. I've got some. I just did doing some work on my house, and I'm redoing the front planting bed, which is all clay, really heavy clay. And I want to plant some encore azaleas in there. What's the best additive to mix with the clay when I get the plants in the ground and backfill them?
Yeah, this is a really good question. And it's one of my biggest frustrations watching when they build new houses and the contractors put a bunch of shrubs around the base of it. 5-10 years later, a lot of them are dead, and the homeowner doesn't know why. It's because they weren't planted right. And keep in mind, I'm over in Fonder, and I know about clay. And on top of that, azaleas and blueberries and a couple of other plants are extra sensitive. They grow naturally in moist, boggy, peat, woodsy kind of soil, the exact opposite of clay. So the temptation is to dig a nice big hole and fill it with a bunch of organic matter, but all you're doing is making like a clay bowl that stays full of water. It's like filling a bowl up with cornflakes and filling it with water. It's going to stay soggy. So to me, the approach is, and keep in mind, I've been doing this for decades. The thing is, dig a hole, a pretty good hole. I'm going to say a shovel deep. If you could dig it a little bit deeper, or at least right beneath each plant, if you could dig the bed a good solid shovel depth, and beneath each plant, loosen the dirt up another shovel, and then spread a little bit of bark and a little bit of peat moss or compost or manure, something like that. Bark is bulky and it lasts a long time. And the peat and the compost, they sort of enrich the soil. So if you put a couple of inches of bark on top and then maybe an inch or two of cheap potting soil or peat moss, and then stir that into your dirt. We're looking at about 12, 15 inches of dirt with a 3 or 4 inch layer of stuff dug into it. It's sort of like and I've used this a bunch before. It's like putting crackers in a bowl of chili. If you put more than 2 hands full of crumbled crackers, it ain't chili anymore. So think 1 or 2 hands full of crumbled crackers to a bowl of chili, and you got the idea of how much organic matter out of your dirt. Any more than that, it's going to stay wet in the winter and sprout faster in the summer. And then here's the last point. This is really, really important. When you buy a new shrub, loosen up the potting soil, loosen up some roots. If they're really tangled, loosen them up, cut them if you need to, but get rid of that pot-shaped potting soil root. And so the roots can quickly grow into your dirt mix. So what I do is I dig a pretty deep hole, I add a little organic matter, a little bark, a little peat, and I loosen up the whatever potting soil and stir that in. And that's usually all it takes to get them through too wet in the winter, too dry in the summer. And then if you'll mulch to keep the ground nice and cool, you probably don't need to water those more than every week or two if you plant this time of year, every couple of 3 weeks in the fall. And by next summer, maybe a good soaking every 3 or 4 weeks is all they need, a good soaking.
Okay. Well, I'm going to take your advice that I've heard you say many times to dig the hole at least twice as wide as the root ball. And
yeah, at least I would do it three. We're trying to get the quicker a plant can grow side roots that are anywhere from 2 or 3 inches to maybe a foot deep. The quicker they can grow side roots, the quicker they get established, and the less maintenance going to need in the long run. So I would prepare a bed, if not a whole 3 feet wide. Sounds crazy, and it's not fun, but that's what's going to keep your plant looking good. And let me throw out one other thing. Encore azaleas are not the only pretty shrub in town. Right around your neighborhood and look at some other small shrubs that give different shapes and textures and mix them in with your azaleas so you don't have all your eggs in one basket, and if something happens, you have something through the different seasons. A soft-tip yucca, dwarf nandinas, things like that. They fill out a bed, and it's not neat and uniform like we like, but it provides a little insurance and a lot more seasonal interest.
Okay, that sounds great. And the holes for the azaleas can be as deep and as wide as I like, because I'm 80 years old and I'm going to hire somebody to dig the holes. I'm not doing it myself.
At least a shovel deep. I'd say 3 feet across. That's asking a lot. And then loosen it up another half a shovel right in the middle of it. And other than that, that's all you need to do.
That sounds good. I sure appreciate the advice, Felder.
Okay. Good luck. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Dan.
You bet. Java, I see, there's a lot of, in your neighborhood, when they first built your neighborhood, which is a nice neighborhood, when they first did it, the first 5 or 10 years, I got calls all the time from people whose plants were dying because they were just shoved in the ground. And 4 or 5 years later, they started popping out. So what you got is really what survived all of that. And they were either really good, tough plants, because you got a beautiful landscape, or else they somehow managed to luck up and be planted right.
Yeah, we're always surprised at some of the blooms that kind of just sprout out, and we're like, what's going on? We didn't plant any of this.
Yeah, when you moved in, you said there's been a real garden been there before, and Susan and I came over and visited and looked at it. And I told you don't touch anything for a year. But last time I was over there a month or so ago, man, you had cleaned out a lot of stuff.
Well, yeah, we had a bunch of kind of older trees and kind of I guess I'll say
snaky looking stuff.
There you go. I was going to say dead, but yeah, a lot of undergrown things.
Yeah. And by the way, it's getting the next couple of 3 weeks is the time to plant. If you and Crystal want to plant some stuff for fall. The next, maybe not right now, it's going to be really, really hot, but late July, early August, crazy as it sounds, that's the time to plant your second crop of fall stuff.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah, no, we'll get back out there and like Crystal says, turn the dirt over.
There you go. So, we got any calls?
No, but it is time for our cheesy tune of the day, and you sent me 2, so I don't know which direction you want to go to for this first hour.
Let's do the Hello Summer. I forget who did it. I can't remember the name. Starts with the R. Ramira. Anyway, it's a tune called forgot the name of it. Happy Summer or
Hello Summer.
Well, Hello Summer. Okay, I'm horticulturalist Felder Rushing. Me and Java and all the other folks. Marissa is sitting there waiting for your phone call. And I'd be real glad to chat with you about whatever's going on in your gardening mind. We're starting to see chinch bugs crank up in St. Augustine grass and armyworm. Whew, there's a lot of stuff out there. Be glad to talk with you about it. And if you got something to teach me, like our first caller did, I'm ready. So we're going to take a quick break and come back with more of the Gestalt Gardener here on Mississippi Public Broadcasting right after this.
Together through the years, together in the future. MPB, your stories, our mission.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Bobby Rush. As a blues man, I love Mississippi Public Broadcasting. If you support Mississippi music and their local programming, donate now, right now, and become a member today, not tomorrow. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Doesn't matter how big or small, but we prefer big. Thank you very much.
Mississippi is a place of deep roots where every story matters and every voice can be heard. At MPB, we stand with our local communities, bringing you the voices of those who shape our state through local programming that reflects our culture across small towns to big cities, from the Delta to the coast. We tell the stories that define us, from the music that carries our voices to the leaders who inspire change. MPB brings you the heart of Mississippi, celebrating Mississippi one story at a time. MPB, your stories, our mission.
The Measuring Show.
Since 1970, MPB has been enriching the lives of Mississippians.
Everything we do gives us the chance to grow and learn.
With your support, we are always there whenever and wherever you need us. Together through the years, together in the future. Please consider making a donation at mpbfoundation.org. MPB, your stories, our mission.
Okie folks, welcome back. Horticulturalist Felder Rushing. That was Hello Summer. You remember the name of the artist, Java?
I believe it's Rameez, Rameez. And you can look that up. Yeah, I think I'm saying that right, Rameez.
It's pretty cheesy and it's tuny too. What about the calls?
No calls yet. Y'all, I don't want to call our listeners disappointing, but
No, yeah, well, it's just I don't mind because I got plenty of stuff to talk about. Matter of fact, I want to show because we're talking about summertime and planting and all. I've got a little small series of pictures I'd like to show here, and I'll describe it as we go. Let's start.
Wait. Before we get to the pictures, I'm gonna put out one more help distress call to our listeners. Call in, please. But also we have a YouTube question, and you can always drop a question in the YouTube chat if you just can't get into your phone. Just go to YouTube, type in Gestalt Gardener or Mississippi Public Broadcasting. But let's see, this is Kane, and Kane has a question. Says we've got Japanese stilt grass spreading across our backyard. Any suggestions on how to handle?
Well, it's a good question. I have it in my garden too. If it's in the lawn, there's not much you can do because Japanese stilt grass, it's a durable little plant. It's a true grass. And it's durable and it's always going to seed. So you might, depending on what kind of turf grass you got, if you got St. Augustine or centipede, one kind of weed killer. If you've got Bermuda grass, a different kind of weed killer, because you want to find something that'll kill grasses without killing your kind of grass. And there are some herbicides out there, but you have to make sure you're using the one that's safe for your type of grass. If it's in flower beds, unfortunately, there's not much you can do except physical removal and then use mulch. And that's not fun. I don't like saying it, but it's what I do. If there's anything else, I'd do it. Because if a plant's going to flowers, grasses have funny little flowers. We don't think of them as flowers, but they are. And all the energy is going into that instead of to the roots. Anyway, what I would do is I would invest in a small hand hoe. Looks like a hoe, but you can hold it in your hand. And sometimes I've got one that's got a triangular shape, arrowhead shaped head. And I sharpen both sides of it. And all you have to do is lay it on the ground and just scrape the stuff. You don't have to chop or pull, just scrape it. If you can slice the plant off at the soil line, then that gets rid of the top plant, the roots won't sprout back out, and it keeps from turning up more seeds. If you do a lot of chopping, that turns the dirt up, it's got more seeds. So I would scrape it off as best you can, pull what you need to, and then mulch. But if it's in the lawn itself, other than spot treating the stilt grass, fertilizing your regular grass and maybe mowing a little bit higher to help it fill back in, there's not much that'll work. But keep in mind, if you got a thin lawn because you're not watering it ever or you're mowing too close, all of these weeds are going to keep coming back from seed. So in the long run, keeping your grass thick and healthy, mowing high, watering every 3 or 4 weeks, a little fertilizer, that's your best control out in the lawn. But there's some weeds for which I don't have a good control when they show up in my yard, except get out there. This old man's out there on his hands and knees, chopping and slicing and pulling. If there's anything else, I'd do it.
Okay. Well, hopefully that helped out. Let's see, Kane. Hopefully that helped you out. And now, Felder, we have phone calls.
Okay, let's go. Let's do it. Let's do it. I mean, the pictures I got to show are just cheesy things anyway, but let's go. Who we got?
Let's go up to Oxford and talk with Vicky.
Hey, Vicky. Good morning. Lafayette County.
Hey, Felder.
I think Vicky called in last week.
I'm sorry, what?
Oh, no, I was thinking you called in last week, Vicki, because I know, or somebody from Oxford continues to talk about the ice storm damage.
Well, and that's what I'm calling about. We lost a tree in one of our gardens, and all of my plants underneath are shade plants. And right now my hostas are really suffering from sunburn. And my question is, do I need to wait until the spring when the little buds come out to transplant them? Or do you think they'll survive even if they're sunburned through the summer? When is the best time?
It's a good question. I know how frustrating it is because hostas will not take the sun in the south. For one thing, you can move them now. I wouldn't divide them, but you can move it if you water them really well 2 or 3 days ahead of time. So they're moist, but they're not sopping wet. You can move clumps this time of year. You can do that. They're going to suffer a little bit, but they're suffering anyway. But if you can just hold on until fall, you can move them this fall while you still know where they are. You don't have to, that's probably the best time to move hostas. If you wait till wintertime or springtime, you may break some of the little buds off. So fall and early winter, to me, would be the best time. And you can move clumps now. If you water them really good, then let them dry out a day or two. You can do that now.
Oh, great. Okay, thank you so much.
All righty, appreciate it. Good luck. And by the way, I've noticed on the Mississippi Gardening Facebook, a lot of folks up in North Mississippi are still seeing new damage from the ice storm. The ice broke a lot of stuff, but it bent a lot of stuff and cracked a lot of stuff. And now that the trees have leafed out, if you get a bunch of rain or wind on a fully leafed out limb that's cracked, we're still seeing limbs fall out of the clear blue. So look up before you wander around the yard because there's some dangerous limbs still hanging up there, and they can fall on a clear blue day in the summertime. So just be careful.
Yeah, I will. Thank you.
Okay, appreciate your call. Thanks, Vicki.
All right, bye.
What's up, Java?
Now let's go to Clarksdale and talk with Marshall.
Ooh, Marshall, I love the Delta. I'm from the Delta. I go to Clarksdale, went on a honeymoon in Clarksdale, but I don't know if I'd want to be in Clarksdale with 100-degree weather coming your way. Sorry.
Good morning, Felder. It's beautiful here. Our garden is unbelievable. I was calling. I have several questions for you, actually. We just ate our second to last cantaloupe, and I want to plant some more cantaloupe, but my husband says they won't make in time.
Well, they can. It takes, about 3.5 months at the most from seed to harvest. And we don't get our first frost in the Delta until, usually the first week or so in November. See, so you can plant summer stuff up until the end of this month in North Mississippi and expect to get a good harvest. But now, y'all going to have to water a little bit more. Not often, but water really deep. And when you plant the seeds, cover the ground with some mulch to keep the dirt from overheating in the sunshine. It'll keep it moist and cool. So it's really important to mulch and to give it a good deep soaking without keeping it wet. And they can do fine.
Okay, great. Ha, I told you. If we put it in the same mound, is that going to work? I told you.
I'm sorry, I was laughing at him.
If we replant in the same mound, will that work, or should we plant somewhere else?
I would lightly rework it. It's better to not plant in the same place year after year, but in one season, I don't see the big deal. If you want to go ahead and do it, but next year plant them in a different area. But since that dirt's already there, just lightly rework it, which is not fun. And I do it in the morning because you're saying it's great weather right now, but wait till next week. But I go in and rework the dirt, maybe a little bit, maybe a shovel or half a shovel of compost per mound dug in. That'll help the new roots grow deep real fast. The key is keep the roots cool and moist.
And my last question is, he loves to plant collards and greens as soon as possible, normally August 1st. Is that too early?
It's not too early. If he's done it, does he grow them from seed or set out little transplants?
Seed.
See, yeah, it's not too early for that at all. You might want to consider, because it's so hot out there, to start the seeds, put just a little sprinkle of seeds in little small pots and get them started indoors. Because outside, when you put them out there and that Delta sun starts beating down, the wind blows, it can cause the soil to crack a little bit, to dry and get hard and make it really tough on small seedlings. But again, mulch will help keep the roots cool. You can plant these kind of things now. I think it'd be better to wait on the collards and the kale and things like that until the middle or the latter part of August, when it's a little bit closer to cool weather. But anyway, you can do it now if you can keep the seeds moist and not too hot.
Okay, thank you, Felder. Thank you, Job. I appreciate it.
Hey, let me ask you something. Has he ever tried different kinds of kale?
I'm the kale person in the family. I love some kale. We grew some walking stick kale, I guess, a year ago that lived all winter into the spring. It just kept making. It was crazy.
Kale has a hard time in the summertime, but it grow through the worst. How tall did your walking stick kale get? Because I've seen it 6-8 feet tall.
Oh boy, it didn't get that tall. Gee, but
yeah. Have you tried the one called lacinato, or some people call it Tuscan blue kale?
We haven't yet. That's what I love, dinosaur kale and everything. But we grow three different greens.
That's also called dinosaur kale. That's what I'm talking about. Dinosaur kale is a folk name for it, but lacinato, it is one of the prettiest plants. Put some in a pot up near the house for wintertime color.
I'm going to.
All righty. Well, stay cool. I hope to see it at one of the Blues Fest or maybe the Juke Joint Festival next year.
You will. We're going to bring you some Tahitian squash. You won't believe it. So just wait and see.
Looking forward. Just wait and see. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you. Appreciate your call.
All right. Thanks, y'all. Bye.
Thanks for that call, Marshall. And Felder, you need to make sure you have your bag next time you're in Clarksdale.
That's right. That's right. What we got?
Let's go to, we're here in Jackson, and this is Levine.
Good morning, Levine. How are you? Getting enough rain?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Mm-hmm. Pretty good. Pretty good. What's up?
Okay. I have a mayhaw tree in a pot. Is it too late to plant it? Should I wait, or is it okay?
You can plant a container grown plant any time of the year. If you can plant it, it can be planted. But digging a wide hole is not that easy this time of year. And the trick with a mayhaw tree, think crabapple, small apple, or they don't get real big, but they have roots that grow straight out. So you're going to need to dig a hole, I'm going to say at least 2 feet wide, and then loosen it up another foot, and then cover it with leaves or something to keep the ground cool. And if you'll loosen up the potting soil just a little bit when you pull it out of the pot, don't just pull it out of the pot and stick it in the ground, but loosen the potting soil up, and then mulch it and give it a good soaking, maybe a couple of times a week for a couple of weeks, and then a good soaking once a week. That's all it needs. Any more than that can rot the roots.
Okay. So is it? I had some other plants that I wanted to repot. So as long as I make sure I water them well after I always do break up the soil a little bit to try to loosen the roots that have been pot bound. Right. But so as long as I do that, they should be okay.
That's right, and especially if you use mulch, because a lot of people forget that in the wind and the sun, the soil can dry down deep, and those roots need to think they're out in the woods. Hey, let me ask you this: how tall is your mayhaw?
It's about 5 feet. It's about 5 feet, I guess. Well, no, about 4 feet. About 4 feet.
Okay. Does it have very many side branches?
A bunch of them.
Here's what I would do, and keep in mind, I was raised in a fruit orchard. I've been working with fruit for decades. When you plant it, I would cut it back to about, to more than 3 feet, somewhere between 3 feet and where it is now, and then thin out all but 4 or 5 or 6 of the strongest, best spaced side branches. That way you'll have a short trunk and some main limbs for the rest of the tree's life. Otherwise, you can grow straight up. But if you'll cut the center of it out and then thin out all but 4 or 5 really good, well-spaced main little shoots, they will be the main stems. Whatever you cut off, don't leave a stub. Cut it right where it sprouts. And you'll have a really sturdy tree that'll have a good shape for the rest of and it'll still keep growing the rest of the year. But I would definitely thin it out as soon as you put it out in the ground.
Okay, and one more thing, please. Last year, August of last year, someone jumped the curve and mowed down my magnolia tree. I mean, literally flattened it. But we pulled it back up, replanted it, and it is trying to live. It actually has some blossoms on it this month. Should I wait to put some spikes down in it to try to down around the roots, or should I wait until the fall, or is it okay to do that now? I'm trying to make
What are the spikes for?
The food, to feed the plant to try to give it some nutrients and stuff.
If you haven't already bought them, don't. The tree root spikes are a really good idea, but it only fertilizes right around that spike. And those trees have got roots all over the place. It's a whole lot better to scatter an all-purpose fertilizer out from the trunk, maybe even further than the branches go, because that's where the roots are. If you'll scatter something even lawn fertilizer, but those spikes only fertilize right where you put them. And meanwhile, a foot and a half over, some roots are saying, well, what about us? What about us? If you already have the spikes, put them in a bag and hit them with a hammer, break them up in little pieces, and then scatter those pieces out under the outspread of the branches. That's a way to fertilize plant. Spikes are a gimmick. They're really popular gimmick.
Well, great. Someone gave me a whole bag, and I went, I could put it around my magnolia maybe, to help it. It's trying to live. It is living. Like I said, it's blooming, and it was mowed down a year ago. But
it's getting it's not too late to fertilize trees, but if you'll go ahead and do it pretty soon. But again, I would take a hammer, put them in I don't know if you're old enough to remember what a burlap bag is. Put it in a bag or something, and break it up into lots of little pieces, and just scatter those out there. That's a whole lot better than pounding them in just every now and then. That only benefit a few little roots. That's like Java. You've been to football games that have these T-shirt cannons where they pump this thing and they blow T-shirts up in the crowd.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's what fertilizer spikes are. They're an occasional T-shirt. You don't know whether you're going to get it or the person next to you.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay, appreciate it. Stay cool. That might have been too much of a stretch on that one, Java.
No, but I think you helped Levine out. Felder, we got about 20 seconds before we get to the break between hour number 1 and hour number 2. So take us home, man.
All righty. With me and Java and all the folks at Mississippi Public Broadcasting, we're glad you joined us. We're going to take a little bit of a news break. We're going to come back, and I've got plenty of stuff to talk about, but I know you do too, and that's what we're here for. So stick with us. We'll come back with hour 2 of the Gestalt Gardener here on MPB right after this.
At the Mississippi Arts and Entertainment Experience in Meridian, we believe in the power of the arts, storytelling, and education, just like Mississippi Public Broadcasting. MPB connects communities across the state with quality programs that inform, inspire, and engage. Their audience is loyal and appreciative of businesses that support public broadcasting, which makes underwriting on MPB a smart investment. Join us in supporting MPB. Learn more at mpbfoundation.org.
Okie folks, welcome back. Horticulturalist Felder Rushing, Hour 2 of Mississippi Public Broadcasting's one and only Gestalt Gardener. We got a lot of programs during the week. I mean, we got medical stuff, food stuff, fix-it stuff, wildlife stuff, money matter stuff, all sorts of stuff.
Lawyer stuff.
What's that?
I said lawyer stuff.
Lawyer stuff. But this is the gardening stuff. So if you got some questions or something you'd like to share, give us a call. It's toll-free, 1-877-MPB-RING. And I promise you, I will not try to sell you anything or to convince you of anything unless it's something that I'm convinced it's the best way for me to do it. And I'm lazy, I'm tired, I'm old, I'm busy, I'm gone a lot. I'll do anything to get out of extra work and get the most out of my garden, my plants, and that's my approach. So give us a call, toll-free, 1-877-MPB-RING. And Jabba, I got a lot of stuff to talk about, but I understand some of the YouTubers have written some things.
Yeah, we got a couple YouTube questions. Miss Buggy Wuggy has one that we're going to get to. But first, let's go to the phone lines. And let's go to Baton Rouge, Louisiana, or Baton Rouge, and
Baton Rouge, Red Stick.
Talk with Patrick.
Patrick, what's going on in Red Stick?
Oh, just hot, hot and humid. I got a question about the best time.
Go take a dip in the river.
Okay.
Right. What's up?
I got a question about pruning knockout roses. I know in the fall you're supposed to kind of cut them back a little bit. What's the kind of best time or good time? Or can I do it now, or what do you suggest?
For ever-blooming shrub roses, not climbers, not once bloomers, but ever-blooming shrub-type roses, you can prune them as hard as you want in the wintertime. You can cut them down to a foot tall if you want to. I don't think I would, but cut them back pretty hard in the wintertime. And then the late spring and the summertime, you can cut them either the whole plants or a branch or two here and there as much as you want, back about a third to a half. I wouldn't do any heavy pruning past, the first or middle of September, so you won't have time for the new growth to come out and bloom. But anytime in late spring, June, July, August, early September, you can cut back a third or so, either individual branches or the whole plants. If you got more than one plant, do every other plant.
Okay, that's what I thought. I just wanted to get your expert opinion about it. I appreciate it. And when you're coming down to the Red Stick?
It's been a while. The late, great Neil Odenwald, he was a professor emeritus at landscape architect. I used to stay with Neil. He's from my hometown, then Baton Rouge. But it's been a while. Every now and then I do lectures on the riverboat, and you might find me in one of the pubs downtown when American Queen is in town. But other than that, usually I'm just passing through. So holler at me sometime.
Okay. Well, thanks, Felder. Thanks, John.
Okay, appreciate. Hey, let me give you another quick tip. My rosarian friends, and keep in mind, I work with plant societies all over the country and beyond. They'll tell you you're supposed to prune a rose right above an outward-facing 5-leaflet leaf. Have you ever heard that?
No.
Well, then don't worry about it. You can take gas-powered head shears to them, and they'll bloom just fine. So don't worry about it. Just whack them back.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate it. And Java, I should have mentioned to him, you need to do it early in the morning, get out there and get back in before the heat and the mosquitoes find you.
Yeah, the sun will be out, about 5:30, right at 6 o'clock. So yeah, you can get out there and knock it out and get back in before the heat comes.
And Java, being from the South, I do travel a lot of places. I'm fortunate in part of my job, and also because I go visit botanic gardens and stuff like that. But you go to a place like Texas or Southern California or England or someplace, it gets hot in those places too, but it's not humid. What happens in Mississippi and Louisiana, Alabama, Arkansas, our part of the country, is humid and your sweat can't evaporate. That's what keeps us cool. We're air cooled by evaporating sweat. And it's so humid, just standing around in the shade, it won't evaporate. So you can get overheated without knowing you're getting overheated. So be careful about that. The heat and humidity can be deadly, even if you're not really doing a whole lot of stuff. So just take care.
Yeah, not to knock us off track a little bit, but most of our Southern Remedy shows for the past couple weeks and, even before that have really been stressing about hydration and, knowing those symptoms of when you are dehydrated or having some kind of heat related thing, because it'll sneak up on you, it really will.
Or just avoid it in the first place. Garden in the morning, drink a bunch of water, and sit on the air conditioning. Go to the library.
Or you can join the Gestalt Gardener on YouTube like so many others have this morning. And got a question from Miss Buggy Wuggy in the chat, one of our most colorful names. This is good morning. Please help me, is what she says. My husband has planted carrots for the last 4 years, and I've yet to harvest one carrot. He's very good at planting bigger seeds, but the little ones never seem to come up. Yeah. Any advice?
Here's the thing. Yeah. Things like lettuce and carrots and all. If you'll mix it with a little sand, just get a little small bag of sand and figure out how many seeds you want to put over an area and mix that with a fair amount of sand really well and just spread that sand over the area. Let the sand dilute the seeds. That makes it easier, a whole lot easier. It spaces out. So mix it with a little bit of sand, and that helps a lot. Also keep in mind some seeds need to have sunshine. If you bury them, the seeds won't sprout. I don't remember. I think lettuce is one of those. You want to just put them on top of the ground, and then instead of watering them, just wet the area down. Seeds need to be moist to sprout, and once they sprout and start growing, then you can water a little bit deeper, a little less often. But right at first, just barely wet it down to keep the seeds moist, and then a little bit more deeper than that. it's also good to remember that carrots don't really grow that well over the summertime here. They grow fine over the winter. They grow best in the late summer and fall and the late winter and spring. So to get the most out of carrots, I think about sowing some seeds sometime around, the middle or the end of August, and then again in late February, early March. And that way you get your best harvest before it gets too hot or too cold. But anyway, dilute the seeds with sand.
And I would ask this question, maybe we can save it for a little bit because we do have a phone call. What does it do? What is the sand doing?
It's just diluting it. You can take a handful of anything that's real small and you pinch it and it comes up real random. But if you mix it with volume, then you spread the volume. It just dilutes it.
Okay.
It's easier to spread a big volume than a small volume. If you mix a small volume and a big volume, it spreads a little bit more uniformly.
Okay. I can.
You could probably mix them with Cheetos if you want to, but sand is better.
Well, let's go back to the phones and let's talk with Jay. And I think this is Farmerville.
Farmerville, yeah. What's up, Jay? Good morning.
Good morning. I've got a strange question for you, but it's a matter of idle curiosity for me.
Okay.
Tree bark, and it's easy for me to visualize pine tree bark, but I guess the question would be applicable to all tree bark. Is tree bark, as it sits on the tree, alive or dead?
That's a really, really good question. A really good question, but it is dead. Yeah, I mean, it's got all sorts of goodies in it, but no, it's sort of like exfoliating skin, I guess, But that's a good question. It's a weird one, but it's a good one. Bark is not alive. If you'll scratch on a tree and right under the bark, you run into this little bright green layer, that's the living part of the tree. You get beyond that into the inside of the tree. Inside of a tree is dead too. The only living part of the tree trunk is that little thin layer of green right beneath the bark. Good question, though.
I did not realize it. Yeah. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate you not making me feel like I'm ignorant. So thank you for that.
Let me tell you, not the most ignorant question I ever got. Java, this is way before I was at MPB. Somebody called up, want to know how can they tell in the fall when to stop mowing the grass. But another really good question is when you plant a tree and it's got limbs down near the ground, as the tree grows, do the limbs keep getting higher off the ground? That's another those kind of questions. And the truth is they don't. The tree grows new growth on top of the old stuff.
Yeah, stay the same distance from the ground, yeah. Well, thank
That's
you.
Right. I just want to head you off because you think weird. I just want to make sure we got everything covered here.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, Jay. And we welcome all those kind of questions because, just sometimes you want to know. And Felder,
this is Think Radio.
Yeah.
MPB is Think Radio.
And I know you don't fashion yourself as an expert, Felder, but you're an expert, man. So you can come and
no. I'm an expert. I'm just not I'm not a complete expert. Just like our very first caller the last hour asked about varieties or species of squash that are resistant to squash vine borer. And I said, I don't think there is one. I looked it up, and there's all sorts of squash vine borer resistant squash I didn't even know about. So I'll be an expert on that next week.
Now, speaking of that, in the YouTube, we had Sal say, hey, Felder, squash vine borers are my arch enemy. I've planted all kinds of resistant, and they use quotations, resistant squash, including butternut. So far, the only one that seems to be working, and help me out, is it Cushaw?
Cushaw, yeah, that's like a great big. It's bigger than it's a big old thing, and it's a hard shell squash.
Yeah,
you can't even pick it up to hit anybody with it. It's that big.
And that's what they said. They said it's a hard, tough stern, and so that one is resistant.
Yeah, Java. A lot of people may not, if they don't plant squash, you don't know about it. The squash vine borer is a larvae. It's a caterpillar. It looks like a maggot. It's a white worm that hatches from eggs laid on usually the stem or the lower stems of the leaves. The egg had by a moth. It looks sort of like a little red and black wasp. It's a clear-winged, daytime, small moth that looks kind of like a wasp, lays eggs. They hatch out. They bore straight into the stem, and they go in and out. They hollow it out. They get this real nasty, wet, yellow sawdust-looking stuff. But it usually doesn't get the fruit. It usually gets the stems down close to the root. And that's the reason why they're hard to control, because you have to spray all the time. So, or else just use netting. Anyway, good question. But he sort of hinted at something, Java. I was using my educated guess of thinking, if there are variety of the squash that are resistant to the borer, resistant doesn't mean immune. We have all sorts of plants that are resistant to certain diseases, but they get them in the South because we have so much pressure. So it might be that even resistant varieties may need protection from the squash vine borer in our part of the country.
Yeah, that's another part that we talked about in the last hour. Felder, let's take our first break, and when we come back, we have another YouTube chat question. Like I said, if you got questions, you can drop them in the YouTube chat, and it's about a rosemary bush. So we can talk about that after the break.
Okay. And folks, if you're not familiar, when we say YouTube, you can watch this. This is a live stream. We got a couple of great guys back there doing the live stream with pictures and stuff. Then you can watch and see what we're talking about. Go to YouTube, and in the search box, put in Gestalt Gardener, or go to mpbonline.org and fiddle around till you find Gestalt Gardener, and you can watch this live 24/7. You don't have to wait till Friday morning, anytime you want to. So that's what we're doing here, live streaming it. It's a special program put together by Mississippi Public Broadcasting. So me and Java are going to come back with more of all this right after this.
At the Mississippi Arts and Entertainment Experience in Meridian, we believe in the power of the arts, storytelling, and education, just like Mississippi Public Broadcasting. MPB connects communities across the state with quality programs that inform, inspire, and engage. Their audience is loyal and appreciative of businesses that support public broadcasting, which makes underwriting on MPB a smart investment. Join us in supporting MPB. Learn more at mpbfoundation.org.
Hatred destroys the one who hates. The others that you hated, they go on about their business, care of us.
So the legacy of Medgar Evers is an understanding of our own humanity and of our own responsibility of seeing that in other people.
He is written out of history. He's just not included as Malcolm and Martin. To me, it's the 3 M's, and Medgar is right up there at the lead.
Everlasting, Life and Legacy of Medgar Evers. Watch now on MPB Passport. Visit mpbonline.org for more.
Support the programs you love and wear your Mississippi pride on your sleeve. Literally, with the new merch on the MPB shop. Check out our latest drop with apparel from your favorite TV and radio shows, both current and throwback. Featuring fan favorites like Next Stop Mississippi, Southern Dish, Ampton Wired, and more. Every purchase you make supports MPB. Visit mpbonline.org and click the shop button at the top to show your support today.
All right, folks, welcome back. Horticulturalist Felder Rushing, and boy, have I got some stuff to share with you, but that's not what we're here for. We're here to talk with you about what's going on with you. So who we got, Java?
Let's go back to the YouTube chat because we had a couple questions in there, and this one, I really don't know how to say this name, PCKCD. I guess this is what it is. It says, Good morning, Felder. I was wondering how I could get my rosemary bush to be, well, bushier. It's so little. I prune and prune, but it just gets taller, not bushier.
Yeah, that's a really, really good question. And every one of us who grows rosemary have to deal with this. In England, where I spend a lot of time, rosemary gets chest high. I mean, they get big as azaleas because it's a cooler climate. But to answer your question, some variety of the rosemary naturally grows straight up. There's nothing you can do about that except snip the new growth to make it branch out. Now, it's going to want to grow straight up too. And Java, in the back of my pickup truck, I grow all sorts of stuff. I've got a rosemary type. It's not a cascading or a sprawling kind. It's an upright kind, but the variety grows naturally really tight. It doesn't get up tall and skinny like the ones in my yard do. So you can choose a good type to begin with. But to answer your question, you can. Most people are hesitant to prune shrubs back really hard. It's called rejuvenation. Cut them back where there's not a leaf left on it. Rejuvenation. You can do that even for rosemary, which is a shrub. It looks kind of bad and it struggles a little bit. Like boxwood don't like to be cut back, but you can. But to me, an easier solution would be to trim back the new growth about halfway or 2/3, the part that's got the leaves on it, let it branch back out. But meanwhile, take cuttings, what you cut, 4, 5, 6 inches long, strip off all but a few leaves at the top and stick them in a bottle of water. They'll have roots in 2 weeks. Roots in 2 weeks, that fast. And root you several pieces of, and then plant them around the base of your old one. So you have like a rosemary thicket. And then when they start growing, keep them sheared so their new growth stays real low. In other words, just fill out around the original plant. You can plant them as close as you want to, but to me, that's the easy. If you don't want to cut it way, way back, which is kind of harsh, go ahead and root you some small pieces and get them started. That really helps a lot. And I don't know, there's no other way I can put it on that.
Okay. Well, hopefully, let's see, was it KCD? Hopefully they helped out.
Yeah, good luck on it. And I love root rosemary, gardenias, basil, oregano. They are so easy to root right now in water. You can get kids to root 4, 5, 6 inch long pieces of rosemary. The stuff on the end, the not the real tender stuff, but new growth, strip off the leaves, and they'll have roots in 2 or 3 weeks. And the kids can put them in pots and go around and who knows, sell them to the neighbors for $1 a piece. We need to train new horticulture people. That's the way to get them started. Who else we got, Java?
Now, Felder, I do have I got an email from Dan who is, it says, I'm battling crabgrass and chamber bitter in my garden in Tuscaloosa. So they're in Alabama. And the question is, what types of pre-emergent should I use and when to apply them to reduce this burden in the future?
That's a good question. We do have pre-emerge herbicides, which and there's several that are safe for the garden. I think one is called Preen, Preen. But you put these down in the late winter before the seeds sprout. Because what happens is they don't kill the seeds, they won't kill plants, but as the seed cracks open, it kills the plants then, right when the seeds emerge. So you need to put it out in, I'm going to say in our part of the country, sometime in real late February, early March, certainly by the middle of March, because a lot of stuff sprouts by then. In the case of crabgrass and chamber bitter, which people call, it's another word for mimosa weed, they can sprout the rest of the year. And these pre-emerges only last for 2 or 3 or 4 months. So you have to put it down in the late winter to try to cut down on the spring stuff, and then you put it again in late spring, June or so, to cut down on what comes up in the latter part of the summer. So pre-emerge is strictly temporary. If these things are in your lawn, it works okay, but it's going to take at least 2 applications, late winter, late spring, to do any kind of, and it's not going to get all of it, but it'll get the worst of it. Unfortunately, there's not any sprays we can use on chamber bitter, the mimosa weed, that won't kill other plants. But anyway, there are some weed killers that they'll kill the crabgrass, the Dallas grass, those kind of things, but it won't kill chamber bitter and vice versa. Hope that helps.
Yeah, we'll have to see Dan. He actually sent in an email, so hopefully.
Okay.
Yeah, and he sent it at 9:59, the last hour. So maybe Dan's still listening.
If you'll forward that to me, Java, I'll take care of it as soon as we get off the air.
Okay, no problem. Now, Felder, you did want to show some pictures. We're coming up almost on our second Cheesy Tune break. So what you got for us today?
Okay, let's put up 3 pictures in a row. First, picture number 18 I sent. This is a plant that was something I was given by one of my pub buddies, one of my drinking buddies last night. We talk about gardening in pubs too, but this is a cucumber that an English gardener grew. That's a pretty good sized cucumber.
It really is.
Yeah, but it's sweet and it's seedless. Seedless, which is good, but seedless doesn't mean burpless because burps come from the skin. But anyway, I want to show you that was one. But let's put up picture number 19 to show you what an English cucumber is. They're so separate. English cucumbers are long, they're ribbed. Sometimes they're a foot or so long, and they're usually wrapped in plastic to keep them drying out. You can get these in stores also, but English cucumber is a different species, and it's seedless. But also the skin is real thin, so you don't get the burps from it. And then just want to throw that at different kinds of cucumbers. And by the way, we were arguing because they say that's not a cucumber, that's a gherkin. A gherkin, Gherkin. I'm thinking gherkin, cucumber, the same thing. Well, I did a little research. A gherkin is a small cucumber, small type of cucumber used for pickling. You make pickles out of small cucumbers called gherkins. The name gherkin comes from Holland, and it means a small pickled cucumber. So gherkin is a small type of cucumber that's pickled. But anyway, let's put up this next picture. Picture number what picture that be? Number 20. This is a cool little thing, Java. It blew me away the first time I saw these. These are called cucamelons.
These cucamelons.
Have you ever seen these in a store?
No, and I didn't know what the dimensions of this picture was because it looks like watermelons.
They look just like watermelons. They're an inch or inch and a half or so long. They're tiny little things. And it's native to Central America, Mexico. And in Mexico, they're called sandita. All it is a sour little small type of cucumber. It's not a cucumber. It's not a melon, but it looks like a watermelon. Tastes like a kind of a strong cucumber with a little bit of sourness to it, almost like a touch of lemon. But these are superfoods. Most people don't grow them, but cucamelons are not a cross between watermelons and cucumbers, but it's a plant that's like that. They're just cool as they can be. But anyway, I want to use this job. Have we got just a second? Can I talk about something that's on everybody's mind right now about what we're eating from the stores?
Yeah, this I can't say this. Cyclospora.
Cyclospora.
There you go, cyclospora.
Between E. coli and cyclospora, who knows what you're going to get? Unless you grow it yourself, you got to depend on whoever picked it. Wash your hands. And the truth is, there's a serious epidemic going out. And, other than, I tell you what, let's put up the picture I came up with, picture number 21. These are what we call the danger vegetables. These are the ones you need to worry about the most right now when you buy them. Lettuce, spinach, salad mixes, cut basil, cilantro, parsley, even snap peas. These kind of things can be infected with it. Well, guess what? You can grow all of those yourself. You don't have to worry about whether whoever picked it washed their hands. And by the way, no, I did not. But I just want to throw this out because there's a lot in the news about this right now. But what I wanted to mention is you can grow these kind of things perfectly well. Let's put up picture number 22. We got 3 in a row. Well, I'm going to make this real quick. Picture number 22. This is a small bowl. It's a planting pot, a real shallow planter pot that I mixed up a bunch of different kinds of lettuce seeds and I just sprinkled them on the top. I just mixed, red lettuce, curly lettuce, green lettuce, frilly lettuce, solid leaf lettuce. I mixed them up and I just sprinkled them real lightly over the top and I wet it down and I grew a whole bowl full of salads. Okay, and picture number 22 shows what it can look like in a pot when you just mix up different kinds of lettuces. I know it's too hot this time of year to grow lettuce, but you can grow these things. You can get them sprouted and eat them before they get bitter or before they go to seed. If you'll start a new pot full, let's put up picture number 23. If you start a new pot every couple of weeks, you can have salads that you grew yourself on a patio on your front porch step. It looks pretty good. It grows a lot better when you wait till September, October, November, and then again in February, March, and April. It grows best in cool weather, but you can grow these things right now by harvesting and planting a new pot full every couple of weeks and then eat it before it has a chance for something to happen to it. And the last picture, Java, is picture number 24. I want to show you what I did a couple of years ago. I made a hanging basket that has lettuce, multiplying onions. It's got parsley. I planted all sorts of stuff, but mostly lettuce in a hanging basket. And you can hang it in bright where it gets morning sunshine, but protection of the hot afternoon sun. But this is the pot. First of all, snails and slugs and fire ants can't get to it. Joe, the neighborhood's cats can't pee on it because it's hanging up in the air.
Now that's smart.
And then you don't even have to bend over. You walk around with a squirt bottle of vinaigrette. You don't even have to bend over to eat it.
You just hang it right off the hook.
Different color lettuces are easy to grow if you grow them for fast harvest, microgreens if you want to, and you can do it yourself. Start some more every 2 or 3 weeks, and you can have your own salad and make you feel a lot better and not feel bad in case you get something tainted from the store. Just want to throw that out.
Well, speaking of growing your own, and we're getting ready for our cheesy tune break, I'm going to put my tinfoil hat on real quick because I saw, I think, something on social media about how all of these fruits and vegetables are now seedless. So where are the seeds coming from if all the fruits and vegetables that we buy are seedless? So how you won't be able to grow your own things because everything is seedless now.
Yeah, well, there's to grow something seedless most of the time it's grown from seeds that came from a cross between two other plants. You know, everybody knows what a mule is, but a lot of people don't know you can't just go grow you a mule. You got to start with a horse and a donkey, and what they produce is a mule, and it can't reproduce. It's sterile. So you want a mule, you got to have a horse and a donkey. Same thing with seedless watermelons and seedless other things. They take seeds of two different related things, they cross them, and they come out as a triploid. They don't have seeds in it. Doesn't happen all the time, but they figured out which ones do and which ones don't. Seedless cucumbers, seedless persimmons, seedless watermelons. They're usually mules, and you can't save seed. You got to buy new ones every year that are grown by somebody who crossed the two right parents. Whew, that sounded complicated.
All right.
Good question, though.
Yeah, it was something on social media, and I was like, oh, conspiracy.
No. It's a little kinky, but it ain't conspiracy.
Yeah. All right, take us out, man. You gave us another cheesy tune that you sent.
I do, and this one, I forgot what the name of it is now.
Hold on, wait. I got it pulled up. Hold on. Room on the Porch.
Room on the Porch. This is a real short thing. It's about a minute, 10 seconds and all, but this is about how we are in the South. It's called Room on the Porch. Just look it up, folks. It will make you smile. So horticulturalist, Felder Rushing, Java Chapman, all the other folks at MPB, taking a real short little break, and we're going to come back with more of your phone calls and your emails and your YouTube stuff right after this. But this is Room on the Porch. Bring it on. Come on.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Bobby Rush. As a blues man, I love Mississippi Public Broadcasting. If you support Mississippi music and their local programming, donate now, right now, and become a member today, not tomorrow. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Doesn't matter how big or small, but we prefer big. Thank you very much.
Mississippi is a place of deep roots where every story matters and every voice can be heard. At MPB, we stand with our local communities, bringing you the voices of those who shape our state through local programming that reflects our culture across small towns to big cities, from the Delta to the coast. We tell the stories that define us, from the music that carries our voices to the leaders who inspire change. MPB brings you the heart of Mississippi, celebrating Mississippi one story at a time. MPB, your stories, our mission.
Together through the years, together in the future. MPB, your stories, our mission.
School choice, rural hospitals, voter access. The 2026 Mississippi Legislature will impact you and your family for years to come. MPB brings you At Issue, a weekly analysis of the legislative session and the issues affecting you with perspectives from both sides of the aisle. Brandon Jones and new At Issue analyst Rebecca Staples join me, Wilson Stribling, every Monday at 5 p.m. only on MPB Think Radio and wherever you get your podcasts. MPB, your stories, our mission.
Okay, folks, welcome back. Horticulturalist Felder Rushing. 2 hours of gardening can be a lot for some folks, but you can listen to parts of this anytime you want to by going to mpbonline.org and just goof around till you find Gestalt Gardener, figure radio, and take it from there. That's what I do. I can't remember. Or go to YouTube and in the search box put Gestalt Gardener, Gestalt, Gestalt Gardener, and it'll take you right to this. It'll take you all sort of MPB stuff, and you can see the stuff that we're talking about and catch on something you might have skipped out on. Java, we got any callers?
Yeah, let's go to, who is this, Susie in Laurel, who wants to join the show.
All right, Jones County. What's going on, Susie?
Hey, good to hear y'all,
Thank
especially today. I mean, in the super heat. And I want to, and the comments about, the growing stuff, I live in an area where it's already a little too early to start growing greens, which I love. I just love them. But something that Felder actually sent out as one of his the gifts that you got when you called into MPB, and made a donation, several years ago, it was great. But I already have had some because what I had blew in on a hurricane longer ago than either Felder or I would like to admit. Okay, right, Felder? We used to have different color hair then, huh?
Wait. You growing what? I didn't get what we're growing.
Purslane.
Oh, yeah, purslane.
It took me a while to figure out. Yes, it took me a while because it's kind of a half succulent, isn't it? Which is what makes it so perfect for this area. It's I've never seen any diseases on it. It reseeds itself, and you can just go out and pick some and, make a little sauce here and there. I don't know, whatever else is growing around or whatever you got, that you can get from the farmers markets. And voila, right?
That is a really good idea. I forget about other edible summer greens. I grow Banabar spinach, which is a really cool little vine. It's a very attractive vine. And I've grown some of the Asian spinach type things. They're a little bit too bitter for me. And I can't remember, Java, there's a green or red. They grow a lot in the Caribbean. It's a type of amaranth they grow for summer greens. I can't remember the name of it.
I'll have to try that. Yeah, I've heard a lot about amaranth. But I did grow Malabar spinach, as they called it, from the seed catalogs. Oh, geez, it's been a long time.
Yeah.
But for me, it was a little too mucilagynous. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Well, it is.
But then it's kind of like okra. People say okra is too mucilagynous for me. But then I found out if you eat okra raw, it's fantastic.
Yeah, or if you fry real hard. And by the way, the leaves of sweet potatoes are perfectly edible. A lot of people don't realize that, but sweet potato leaves, perfectly edible. So we have some summer greens, but the main thing right now is we're looking for alternatives to bags of chopped lettuces at the store, at least for right now. But that's a good tip on the purslane. I appreciate that a lot.
Until the other stuff comes in, right?
Yep, that's right. That's right.
We got
And
some
thank you for
super
that.
heat
That's
for a while.
an interesting call. Thank you. Yes, that was our friend from Jones County.
Yeah, thank you, Susie, for calling in and sending in that suggestion. We do got another phone call, Felder. I was about to call you something else. Let's go to Jim in Jackson, who wants to talk about crepe myrtles.
Morning, Jim. How are you?
Good morning, Felder. Jim Rosenblatt here. Before we talk about crepe myrtles, let me mention that one of the disadvantages of seedless watermelons is that you can no longer tell the youngins that if they swallow the seeds, they're going to grow a watermelon inside them and the vines will come out their ears.
Oh, yeah, I've heard that all my life. And plus, you don't have anything to spit off the porch.
But
See, Java's too young to know about this kind of stuff, Jim.
Oh no, I'm all aware. I'm well aware of watermelon seed spitting. Come on now.
They have a watermelon seed spitting contest in Raleigh at the Watermelon Festival every year. So anyway, what you got, Jim? What's up?
Well, the crepe myrtles look gorgeous right now, and I'm just wondering, how do they propagate? Is there a seed in the blossom that hits the ground and they grow, or does it come up from the roots, or how do you propagate a crepe myrtle?
Well, some crepe myrtles are very prolific about seeding themselves around. They can be kind of weedy, as a matter of fact. Some of the older varieties do produce seeds. A lot of the newer varieties don't, or they don't produce very many seeds. Otherwise, you see them everywhere. Old varieties will, sort of like old varieties of a Rose of Sharon or Althea. They'll seed themselves. Modern ones don't. The way we get them now is when they come up with a variety that they've crossbred different kinds. They're propagated by cuttings. Each cutting is a clone. It's an identical piece of the original plant. So when you see one called Natchez, every Natchez crepe myrtle on earth came from one that they grew cuttings from. They're all identical. So most of the time they're grown from cutting, which is fast. Growing a plant from seed, a tree or shrub can take anywhere from 3 to 5 to 7 years or more before it reaches maturity and starts blooming. But a cutting is off of mature wood. It'll bloom the next year. So that's how they're mostly propagated. It keeps the lines clear. You know, it will always remain the same plant that way.
So I'd be better off going to the nursery instead of trying to get a seed and put it in some potting soil and grow a seedling.
Yeah, I mean you can do that, but you know if you find one that if you've got a neighbor that's got them coming up everywhere from seeds, they're real easy to transplant. But if you want to depend on one, if you want to look like the one that you like, you need to make a cutting off of that, or it's just a clone, that's all.
Well, they're really beautiful this time of year. It's one of my favorite summer flowers.
You know, it's sort of, it's been real popular across the South. We do have trouble with an insect, with powdery mildew and aphids and with the crepe myrtle bark scale. But we're starting to see more people growing vitex. And some of the hybrid varieties of Althea or Rose of Sharon are just stunning. They come in reds and whites and purples and blues and pinks and doubles. And, you know, so some of the Altheas or Rose of Sharon are some very astounding plants that we haven't traditionally grown here.
There's a crepe myrtle near us that has both red and white blossoms on it. Would that have been the result of putting 2 different cuttings on it?
Yeah, I mean, they all grow from cutting, no problem at all.
Well, thanks very much, Felder. Always good to listen to you.
All right, appreciate it. Thanks for joining us, Jim. And a job I'm doing a real quick search on summer greens, things that you can grow: New Zealand spinach, Malabar spinach, which I've grown, amaranth greens. You know, there's some that are green, some that are kind of reddish purple, but they're extremely drought tolerant, easy to grow. Collard green, no, collards won't grow here in the South. Trouble with looking stuff up online is they don't know about Mississippi. They say mustard green. Mustard won't grow in the summertime for us, so just skip through that. But they do mention sweet potato leaves, perfectly edible. Just want to throw that out.
Okay, well, let's go back to the phones and talk with, this is Sandra in Florence.
Morning, Sandra. How are you?
Hey, Felder, I'm good. How are you?
So far, so good. Hanging in here.
Yes, hot.
Yeah.
I have hydrangeas. This Saturday, my grandson was weed eating and cut a small one down. it still has the roots and all. If I keep watering it, do you think it'll come back next year?
Okay, I heard everything, but did you hydrangea?
Yes.
Yeah, it will come back. It's just going to be a real shortcut. As a matter of fact, the roots are intact, so it might take it a few weeks to sprout back out, but when it does, it's going to be pushed by a massive root system, and it'll actually outgrow anything you plant right now. I would come back, though, when it sprouts out. It's going to take 3 or 4 weeks for you to notice it, and sometime by the early September or so, if you'll snip the tips off that new growth, or else wait till wintertime and cut the new growth back a little bit, they will bush out next year and be a bushier plant. Otherwise, they're going to shoot straight up. So as I taught myself through it, what I do is just mulch around it, keep the lawnmower off of it. And sometime in February or March, if you'll whatever grows the rest of the summer, if you cut it back about halfway, what grows off of that should still bloom, and it'll be bushier.
Okay, good. I have several hydrangeas, and my older ones did not bloom this year.
A lot of, that's a pretty common, it's really surprising how many people say that their hydrangeas don't bloom, or they just bloom every now and then, or they bloom the hydrangeas are kind of fickle in the South. You see them all over cooler parts of the world. They grow, right now they're in every cemetery in England, full sun, great big things, just glorious things. But they suffer where we are from sudden late freezes in the wintertime, from heavy rains in the spring, which damage their roots, from heat and drought. There's a lot of physiological, environmental things that affect how they grow, because they really prefer to be in a cooler climate. So some years they're going to bloom better than others, just because of the rainfall and the heat, and whether or not you fertilize them or prune them or not. But it's kind of almost a luck of the draw.
We had all those three things, but and I figured the quick freeze made them do that.
Usually doesn't get it. Hydrangeas,
every year.
And there's several different kinds of hydrangeas. Some bloom on new growth, and like the PG hydrangeas and summer whatever. Anyway, there's some that bloom on new growth, no problem at all. But the old-fashioned kind, they bloom on what grows in the spring off of the previous year's growth. If you get enough winter damage or prune them too hard, they'll sprout back out, but they won't bloom. So it really depends on the type and the weather. And other than that, there's not much we can do except just cross our fingers.
Well, can you tell me, does it really work if you put something on them to change the colors? I like the blue, and I've had a lot of blue, but it seems they're changing to pink.
Those kind of hydrangeas, the ones that are pink or blue, what makes them blue is the amount of aluminum that they can absorb for the soil. Our soils have got plenty of aluminum, but if you'll add extra aluminum, and you can buy this stuff called aluminum sulfate. You can buy, azalea fertilizer got aluminum sulfate. It just gives a little extra liquid aluminum. Or else if you'll make the soil acidic by putting sulfur around it, aluminum is tied up in soils that are alkaline. So if you'll make the soil less alkaline, put some sulfur around it, then that'll help it absorb the aluminum better. But most people just sometime in the late winter, spring, they just mix up this aluminum sulfate. Garden centers sell it. It's a soil acidifier is what it is, and that helps.
All right. That sounds good. Thank you so much. Love your show.
Java, there's a lot of really weird stuff that I picked up over the years. That's really one of them. I can't sell this information for beer, but I can talk about it on MPB.
And we appreciate you for it. We'll work on the beer later, but let's go to Barbara, who wants to join the show, and she's in Olive Branch.
Morning, Barbara. What's going on in your neck of the woods?
Oh, same old thing. Anyway, peonies, some of them, the leaves are turning a light green. And I've been told it's probably an iron deficiency, but I do not know what product to put on them. I went to a nursery. She said it's just the time of year.
Okay, I heard everything, but what kind of plant it is? What kind of plant is it again?
Peony.
Oh, yeah, peony. That's gonna be the time of the year. Peonies, they don't really like the hot weather here in the South. They really grow better. The American Peony Society, as they call it up there, the Peony Society headquarters is in Minnesota. That'll give you some idea where they want to grow. So we're at the really bottom edge of where they will even grow to bloom at all. And when it gets really hot and dry, especially if in the sun, they're just going to get faded. Towards the end of the summer, most peonies just don't look good at all unless they're in light shade. Maybe some morning sunshine. Or if it gets hot sun or late afternoon sun, or they get really dry or stay too wet, this causes root damage and they just get faded in the heat. They really don't like hot weather. If you want to green them up, give them a little all-purpose fertilizer, not just iron. Get something like Miracle Grow. I don't sell liquid fertilizer, but something that's got all the nutrients they need. Mix it up in water and pour it around the plant every couple of 3 or 4 weeks. Not even too strong, just regular strength every couple of 3 weeks. That'll do about as much to green them up with everything, not just the iron. Iron deficiency is only one type of pale green. So I give an all-purpose fertilizer, not too strong, and then expect them to look kind of faded here in the deep South. They're not as pretty as they are up north.
Okay, well, thank you so much. I've got some Miracle Grow.
Well, whatever it says to mix in a gallon of water, I know that doesn't look like enough, but it's the maximum. You could even use it less than that. Whatever it calls for in a gallon of water, you can put that in 2 gallons of water and plants will be just as happy. But if you mix it stronger, it can cause problems. So just every couple of weeks, just hit it with a little Miracle Grow, and that'll give them everything they need, including iron. It's got iron in it.
Okay. Well, thank you.
All righty. Well, if you go do this, do it in the morning. Don't wait till it's hot in the day either.
What about late afternoon?
That would be fine. Plants kind of rest at night a little bit. They don't grow as much. It's like sleeping for us. Early in the morning would be fine, but late in the afternoon would be fine because this stuff lasts for 2 or 3 weeks. So I wouldn't worry about what time of day, but I wouldn't water things in the middle of the day because it's bad on them, but it's also bad on you. So just take it easy.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, we appreciate your call. Thank you so much.
I don't know, Felder. Barbara, she had a little chuckle when you said it's bad on you in the middle of the day. She seems like a rebel. She'll get out there in the middle of the day and water her plants.
We had you don't remember Chainsaw Kate, do you?
Yes, I do.
It's a lady who's called from Memphis. She's in her 80s, and she not only had a chainsaw, but she would use it.
Yeah, no, Chainsaw Kate was the one.
Chainsaw Kate, you couldn't tell her nothing because she was going to do it. Yes, and I said, you need to get some help with that chainsaw. She said, I got 2 chainsaws, young man. I'm just saying, it's hot, it's humid, our sweat can't evaporate. Stay hydrated, stay in the shade. Try not to do any heavy stuff in the middle of the day. I ended up on the floor one time from overheating without even knowing about it in the summertime. I wasn't even hot, but I didn't have all the symptoms. Just don't do it. Take it easy.
Yeah, no, that's true. We're playing around, but also one little pro tip: don't wait until you get hot and sweaty to start drinking some water. If you know you're going to go out and be out, even if it is early in the morning or late in the evening, go ahead and drink your water now so your body is fully hydrated. Then when you get outside, it's that much better.
I take it a step further. I'm an older guy. I'm what they call a senior citizen, and I assume that I've reached that point, and I stay hydrated before I think I need to be hydrated.
Yeah.
And then when it starts to get hot, I don't wait till I feel hot. And when it gets hot, I go indoors. I ain't crazy.
And I know you got one of those big hats too to keep the sun off of you.
I do. I wear a straw hat when I don't wear one when I'm in England because it's cold. I wear this flat cap because it's wool. It keeps the sun off my head because I've had little things cut off the top of my head from too much sun. Nothing bad, but you don't want to do that. But also, this keeps the top of my head cool because it's cold up in northern England. Even in the summer, it's going to be down to like 53 tonight.
That's what I was about to say, Felder. Make us mad and talk about the hot high temperature of 82 out there.
Okay, let me put another one. I've got really good friends. The guy that grew those cucumbers for me, he can't grow. His tomatoes are just now starting to get some color to them. And only because they have these little unheated greenhouses. They're not being fancy. It doesn't get hot enough outside for tomatoes to ripen. They can't grow okra. They can't grow sweet potatoes. They can't grow crepe myrtles called the mildew. They can't grow red tomatoes out in their yard.
Oh, wow.
So there's something to be said for being in the South. And they also can't, our friends in Vermont and Seattle, they can't plant a summer crop in April and harvest it and plant another summer crop in July and get a harvest before fall. They get one shot. We got 2 whole back-to-back gardeners. The main thing is don't pretend like you're a tomato plant. Don't sit out there all day.
That's a good one. That's a good advice, man.
All right, I hear the music, man. We've been yakking for 2 hours, 2 hours of gardening. And folks, if you want to listen to it on a rebroadcast, go to mpbonline.org and click around till you find a radio and Gestalt Gardener, or go to YouTube and in the search box do Gestalt Gardener, and you can see all these pictures. Next week, we're going to talk about efficient ways to water. But meanwhile, stay dry, stay hydrated. Don't do anything crazy. And if you get a chance, go to a farmer's market. And take a kid with you, show them how to do what we do best, and that's get dirty.